All right, ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? This is your man Orlando Presents, aka Joe. So you know when I use the name Joe, y'all know what time it is, man. It's the real gospel talk with your favorite crew. Myself, we have Judy Cats, and my man Captain J. All right, all right. How are y'all doing?
Good, good.
Good.
All right, man. I'm so excited because this is actually the first time, y'all, for y'all listening out there, first time that we're actually doing the real gospel talk live from Quake RYC Praise News, where music is therapy. So we're moving on up, man. I feel like,
The deluxe apartment in the sky.
hey, shoot, I'm in a nice house, so I can make it look like an apartment in the sky. Man, this has been a minute. What has been almost about 2 months, 3 months?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh my
that's not
God.
up. It's been a crazy 2 months.
Yes, yes, it
Yes.
has. I mean, between my mixer going down and you all moving back and forth, of course for a good reason, but and then me not being able to get my mixer straight. I mean, it's been wild, man. It's really been wild. So,
Yeah.
let the folks know a little bit about what you all have been going through because my life is, I lived through other people. I lived through you. I lived through my friend Robin. I tell her all the time, you have two kids, you're married, and everything else, dude. Tell me all that you can tell me without telling me too much, and I'll tell you when it's too much. Because I don't have too much to be, and it'll be kind of weird if I'm sitting in the house talking to myself, laughing and joking, be like, "Yeah, Orlando, that was a dope day." Yes, Orlando, it was. So yeah, I don't.
That was a
I
good. That was a good joke.
yeah,
I mean, what's funny?
exactly. Be like, man, what is that smell? Oh, I thought it was you. I mean, having conversations like that. you know. So I think Judy's laughing a little bit too hard, but no, I'm joking.
I'm
Go ahead.
laughing. No, I'm laughing because thank God I got a dog here so people don't look at me weird.
Oh my goodness. They just look at the dog weird, huh?
Yeah. No, the dog looks at them and goes, "Help! She's
oh,
crazy."
oh wow.
Uh,
Mm-mm-mm.
uh, anyway,
Did y'all hear? And I'm gonna get to y'all in just a minute. Did you hear a long time ago? I believe that some scientists was talking about making like a collar for animals, whereas you can actually know what they were saying when they're barking and things of that nature. Since you both have two dogs, one is with Jay and one is with you, Jody, woof, Lord, Judy. would you all like something like that? Would you want to know what your dog is actually saying when they're barking? I mean, how would you feel about that?
I think the body language says a lot already. Not enough is what I want to know. Like it was so funny because there's a dog barking at Ginger once, and she's just ignoring it. All of a sudden, she pops up and she starts running, and I'm like, it's almost like the dog had said, "Your mama," and then finished the sentence. She went charging at that dog like something fierce, but she was ignoring it for a long time. Then all of a sudden, she just looked up, let that dog like, "What'd you say?" So I mean, they say so much without saying a word.
Oh
So,
wow.
yeah, no, I don't know if so. I really want to hear what dogs are saying because I think they're smarter than we are as humans.
Oh my goodness. What about you, Jay?
She's right with the body language, but I'd be afraid that they've heard cuss words and they may be saying them. When we don't feed them when they want to. We get the look already. The words may be out might be it might have to be bleeped out.
Oh
Yeah,
How do
my
you teach,
goodness.
a dog not to do that?
yeah,
Well, see, as soon as you said that, the statement came into mind, all dogs go to heaven. So the dogs and stuff may throw that in your face, but like, look, we're going to heaven anyway. No matter what I
Yeah,
say,
yeah, and movie dogs,
you're the
correct.
one that has to try so hard.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. I need to
True.
write this
Well,
stuff down, man. I might be a comedian one day.
then there's they're like kids, so they see things and you don't want them saying stuff to other people out in public.
Oh wow. Right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're 100% correct on that one. But like, did you know what my mom said about you last night? Let me tell you, girl.
Or the one I loved back in the late or early to mid '80s when I was working at about middle of the I guess it's the middle of the late '80s. I was working at a fast food restaurant, and then the owner said, "Can I help you?" And the guy orders, and she's like, "Would you like that for here to go?" And he's like, "Well, I think here's okay." And so the little boy goes, "You know what?" And the owner goes, "What?" She goes, "That's my dad. But that's not my mom, but she sleeps with my dad." And he goes, "Let it go. Let's go. We're going home." Oh, goodness.
Oh wow. You gotta love it.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays it's not such a big thing because it's become common nature, but back then that was pretty hush hush.
Wow. You have to love
Yeah.
children. You have to love
Yeah.
them. You just have to love them.
Well, yeah, you can't kill them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they said that's against the law, so darn government. No.
Oh, anyway, we're getting way off topic and we're live. We better.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, that was our comedy moment right there on Quake Radio. Just testing out
Yeah.
some things. But ladies and gentlemen, this episode actually is going to be geared towards something very serious. And it is usually brought up about children, being bullied, things of that nature. But many times we do have some adults that don't feel comfortable at work, don't feel comfortable maybe at home, going out into the street because of something, maybe a handicap, maybe a deformity, maybe something about themselves they just don't like, and other people bring so it makes them uncomfortable, and it brings up a form of bullying. So, yeah, that's what this show is going to be speaking on bullying. And man, hopefully y'all will be blessed by it. Hopefully you can go back and think about what's being said. If you're a person that is actually doing the bullying, maybe you can go back and clean up your act and think about what's going on, because everybody doesn't feel, every joke is funny. So, there we go, most definitely. But I'm going to give it over to my man, Captain J and Judy, and I'm going to let you all take over.
okay. You had asked about like what we had gone through the last couple of months.
Right,
I think,
right. Yeah, you can still, yeah, yeah. Let's jump on that, and then we can jump on to the topic.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna let Judy kind of give a synopsis because she's better at doing a synopsis than I am. So I'll be 45 minutes in going, and that's the show. So I'll let her. I'm good at veering down rabbit holes in that aspect of, you know, I don't tell stories in order and well, so I'll let her kind of start on that.
So you're the Ed McMahon. She's Johnny Carson, and you're okay. I got it. I got it now. All these years I've
Okay
been
with
trying
that.
to figure it out. I got it now. Okay.
I'll be Epic Man. That's fine.
I'm telling my age, but go ahead, Judy.
Okay. So, like you were saying, what we've been through in the last couple of years,
Months.
months, not years,
Oh.
sorry, last past couple of months. It feels like years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, to make I'm going to go really short versions on a lot of things. Um, we will go do another show when we're finally back home and walk through the journey of this is all that journey of a prayer that I said before I got this assignment, and that was, use me, Lord, as your hands and feet. Yeah, that's like praying for patience. That's all I'm going to say on that. Um, so basically, um, so we've got this. I had this job assignment come in kind of like last minute. It was all kind of odd. Um, and we had a fuel pump go out, blah, blah, blah. We wound up renting a van and going in debt to rent a van. Got here, started the job, and it started kind of like the day one was at the hotel. They kind of bullied people and treated them like trash. So that was kind of hard for me to watch. A lot of the people there were, that was their last resort before the streets. And it was just horrible to see how the staff treated. It's a hotel. It's not like it's a halfway house. It's not like it's a, or anything. No one should be treated that way regardless, period. But I mean, they're paying a lot of money to be there, and it was rotten. Um, we finally got out of there, and we wound up in our apartment that we're here there, but work was not any better. Um, they wouldn't train me, they wouldn't show me, and then they would turn around and humiliate me in front of patients um, by saying, "Well, look at this, and we had a problem," and it was a horrible situation there, and it hasn't stopped. Um, the one thing I've learned from this bullying, as hard as it is, I mean, I've come home every day a little bit more, feeling more fractured and more fractured and more fractured. Um, but what I've learned and what he's shown me this weekend, and that's why I think it's really important that we do this show, is one thing as a bully, from being bullied as a kid and junior high, and then being a bully not that long ago, so probably 3 or 4 years ago, to somebody. I got part of a bully group. Um, I didn't realize I was part of it until God got a hold of me, and I'll tell that story as well. I'm just kind of giving you the outline right now. And then being bullied again. Um, and then how I've navigated through that. And hopefully it can give some people some peace and some tools with which to navigate through things. Okay, so as a kid, I was bullied because I basically walk like a penguin. I've always had mobility issues since I was a kid. Um, and one of my classmates said, "What do you do after school every day? You shove corn cobs up your butt? So you walk that way?" I mean, that's kid stuff, and things like that. And just mean things were said. But what happened is those thoughts got those seeds got planted in my head, and I watered them with my thoughts of how I was nothing. I fertilized them with my words by repeating what they said, and I separated and transplanted those weeds that grew from those seeds with my actions. So it's really important that, you know, as people, we are careful and mindful of what we say and how we say things, and not just to say things meanly. Um, and then, and I, from that point on to through my young adulthood, I basically just re-bullied myself with those thoughts going through my head again and those things like that. Okay. I had posted Facebook about a month or so ago. Um, don't let people plant their seeds in your head, kind of thing. Um, Pluck them out and throw them away. Um, I kind of mean it. Um, and then a few years ago, when I was bullying, I joined part of a group, and um, God got a kind of got a hold of me. So basically, the gist of the story was, this is, I'm going to go, we took away the lady's voice by not listening to what she had to say, not giving her a chance to speak, walking away. She liked to debate with you on everything. She'd say the sky was blue, it'd be blue. If she'd say, nope, it's green, it's a reflection. And then the next day you'd say, okay, you'd agree with her from the day before, and she'd argue with you about that. You know what I mean? She just liked to debate a lot, and none of us liked to debate. So we were rude and we just walked away. Um, but there was other things. I mean, we were just not very nice. I can't really go into very many more specifics because I don't remember a lot of specifics. I just remember finally feeling popular and accepted and all that kind of stuff. Um, well, fast forward to, she was saying something that was not true about me, and I was hellbent, and I mean hellbent. I saw red, and I turned around in my power chair, and I was going to tell her and give up a piece of my mind that I couldn't afford to lose. I have never heard God's audible that day, and it was loud. Oh, do you think you are? And I literally stopped dead in my tracks and looked around like, what was that? Where'd that come from? And it's like, have you not been doing that to her this entire time for these last 3 weeks? Have you not been doing that same thing? You're nothing but a bully. And I stopped dead in my tracks, turned around, and I never went back to that group again. Because who wants to be a bully? Really, who wants to be a bully? And what I've learned is, and I got bullied for about 8 to 10 weeks after that. And I took it because I dished it out. I'm going to take it. I have to be able to take it. Um, and that person was a traveler and they left. And so sometimes I think that I'm dealing with now is my reaping the harvest that of seeds I sowed back then. Um, but what I've learned is throughout this whole thing, the age of the bullies at work are age 30 to 65. It doesn't have to be young, immature, anything like that. It is a state of mind. It is a state of mental health. It's a state of whatever you want to look at. What I've learned with bullying is it is a attack before you get attacked. It's a lot of their insecurities are coming out. If a bully tells you, man, you look fat in that, their insecurity is they think they're fat or they're afraid to be fat. If they say, wow, look at that secondhand clothing. Oh, yeah. Who knows? Their parents could be going through, heading through to foreclosure and they're going to have to move to something different. We don't know what anybody's going through. And a lot of it, what it is their insecurities being projected upon you. It's our job not to take those insecurities. I would like to say I did a really good job of not lashing out at people when they kind of attempted to humiliate me and do all that kind of stuff. Alas, I failed. um, but I found peace in amongst all the bullying because I realized that nothing I do, they could tell me to do A, I do A. They said, nope, you're supposed to do B. You do B, you're supposed to do, nope, you're supposed to do C. They kept changing the end line, and Jason knows. Yeah, anyway, with one of our friends. Um, anyway, there's a reason why we can't live with people. um, so what I've learned is just take it for what it is. It's hurting people, lashing out, either A for at somebody because of their own insecurities, or they're afraid of somebody else first. A lot of bullying is never personal.
Hmm.
They'll say it to anybody. You just happen to be the one that they think won't defend themselves, that you're weaker than the rest. I lashed out at one of the bullies, and she sees me now and her eyes get real big. I stood up to her. I didn't lash out at her. I stood up to her. And and that, and that just kind of reiterates the insecurities. Um I'm not one of my proudest moments. Please understand, I'm not saying that you do need to stand up for yourself, but you don't need to lash out at someone. Um I now just I'm not there that much longer. Um he's giving me some compassion for people, because it's like, if someone's doing all that, and what I've learned is, when you start gossiping about people, like they start gossiping about, and my flesh would love to participate in that. The flesh in mine would love to. But what I learned the hard way, and the journey I've been through, is that corrupts you from the inside out. It rots you, and it decays your own self. It decays the respect, confidence, and everything else that God has given us when we gossip about other people. And so I have learned to quickly leave, exit stage left, when all that when gossiping is going on, because it corrupts me from the inside out.
Right.
It makes me look at somebody differently based on somebody else's opinion. And that's all gossiping is an opinion. Somebody trying to bully you and saying something about you, it's just their opinion. It doesn't mean we have to own it. We don't have to own that label. Nobody gets to label us because they didn't name us. They didn't create us. They don't get to name us. Identify us. We don't I don't know what it is with with labels and labeling and all that kind of stuff. People, we label boxes, we label clothes, we put size labels on, we put care labels on. Those are things. We don't get to label people, because we're all uniquely and wonderfully made, and we're not made the same. I have skills that you don't have, you have skills that I don't have, and some skills we share. We have the same skills, but we need to stop demeaning each other. It's all intertwined. It's all messy. It's all, as far as bullying goes. Now, I'm not, you know, a lot of people that bullied, that's part of it. Sometimes it's a self defense mechanism. You bully before you get bullied. Um, but it's just one of those things. If we can stop it in ourselves, if we can get whole and adjusted and say, I don't accept that, what they're saying about me. I'm not like that. Um, you know, we don't let it get on the inside. Um, it's just easier said than done, for sure. Um, but I've just learned that, you know, but if you've been a bully and you've gossiped and you do all that, stop it. You're just hurting yourself more than you're hurting anybody else. Because the thing I learned is, when you say stuff about other people and judge other people and say bad things about other people, when you're pointing your one finger at them, four-point fingers are pointing back at you. And when you're alone and you're by yourself, it's like you don't even know who you are. You're stuck with how you feel about yourself, which is never a good thing. Um, because, you know, and one of the things I've noticed too, the one thing that God has helped me with is to become well-rounded, to be, I mean, I'm not saying that my face isn't stained glass, you know, with small pieces put together. You know what I mean? And that's what they call. There's a um, at Elevation Church here in North Carolina. a teenager, one of the youth, did a picture of like her life, and her face. She drew it like a stained glass picture, and her face was all stained glass, different pieces, kind of broken and fit in, and all that kind of stuff. And she said, "Here I am. I'm fractured, but yet I'm still whole." Um, and and that's way a lot of us are. We're all fractured and put back together. Um, but when you're one way with one person, and you're another way with another person, and you're another way with another person, another way with another person, just so you fit in, the problem is you lose yourself. Because when you're alone with your own thoughts, it's like you don't know who you are. When we fall into hard times, it's like, and you're by yourself, you don't know who you are. You don't know how to. At least I didn't. I guess I can't speak for I shouldn't be speaking for everybody. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know how to act because there's nobody around there telling me or giving me guidance of what they expected, or how they expected me to act, or how they expected me to be, or how they expected, you know. And that was hard because I had to go through a period where I had to find out who I was. And um, and a lot of that comes from being bullied, because it's like, well, I'll do what you expect me to do, because that way you won't pick on me. You won't bully me. You won't judge me. You won't, because I'm showing you what you want to see, you know. And we got to stop doing that. We got to stand up for ourselves, and we are who we are, and are who we are for a reason. So, anyway, Jason, I'm uncomfortable. Help me out.
You went down a path.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, the bullying, you know, um, I see it from the outside in that aspect, from what's going on there and how people act with it and stuff. Like, I mean, we've all been bullied at some point. Um, probably, I'm assuming. I kind of grew up with it in a normal, so I think most people probably were. The ironic part is, I mean, I was bullied mainly for, as weird as it sounds, my voice. You know, I was, you know, I guess how I talked sounded weird, so they poked fun at me for it. So I never talked. I have proof in my yearbook in junior high. It says from one of my teachers, my Mister Quiet was my nickname from her, because I didn't talk. You know, and I did for a long time. It's ironic that now I'm on a radio station doing radio shows, you know, kind of thing. You know, I was made fun of for looks. I was made fun of for my voice. So I guess it kind of makes sense I'm on radio because I have a face for radio. Um, and I had a voice for silent movies, so that works out. So I'm taking one of the two. Um, but people don't realize how deep that stuff affects people for long term. I mean, I'm talking about when I was in junior high. You're what, 12, 13, and that's 35 years ago, kind of thing, and it still affects me today. Um, but we came up with a good way to, when someone bullying someone, a good, not officially, I won't say a good comeback, but a good statement would be, "Who hurt you?" Because you know that it's stemming from, because they're lashing out from whatever something happened to them. So you're no longer the victim. You're doing it to somebody else. You're now the aggressor, so you don't hurt. So who hurt you? You may not get an answer, but it's a response back. You know, it's unfortunate to see adults in professional fields or just anywhere doing that kind of stuff, and it's just, and we kind of allow it to go in, you know, culture. You know, it is what it is. Even just bullying, taunting. Like, we watch football, Orlando, and now they have taunting um, penalties. You can't taunt somebody, which is kind of like a bullying thing. You can't get in someone's face and yell at them and call them names because it's bullying. I call it football, but still not completely appropriate. You know, but culturally, we accept it in general. I mean, it's just a normal thing. That's just what you do. You get bullied. You know, And unfortunately, if someone's bullied and the one that gets bullied hits the other person and punches them, they get in trouble for hitting.
Right.
Versus the person that's been bullying them for the last 6 months, they finally got the one that got bullied finally got fed up and hit them. Now they're in trouble. Well, they just said words. Well, yeah, I'll get in your face for 6 months and do so. Eventually, you're probably going to want to swing at me, and that's just we react to the wrong part of the bullying process. So I know people that have done that. You see that happen. The kid gets upset, or the kid goes to school with a gun and shoots the school. Shoots
But
the bully.
But you see right there how hypocritical that the world is, period, anyway, because
Mm-hmm.
they'll sit there and say, "Oh, if a child hits another child because they were being bullied and the child only said words to them." And then they be like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, well, he only said words. The words can't hurt." Okay, well, the thing about it is, let's take that to music and everything else then. You all always screaming and saying that the words in this music, you know, can or is messing with your children. How are the words messing with your children? They're only words.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, one can't be right and the other one is wrong. The
Yeah.
Yeah.
words can hurt you. The words can cut deep. All depends
Uh-huh.
on what the person says to the other person. Words can cut very deep. With folks always saying, "Oh, they were just words. You just got to keep your hands to yourself." Nah, and it is not just words, especially for children. It's not
Yeah.
Mhm.
just words because they're not understanding. The separation of things. They're understanding that you said something to me. Now, all of the people who I consider friends are laughing at me and pointing their finger at me and saying the same thing that you just said to me. So that's making me feel terrible. So I need to make you feel terrible in a physical way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we teach violence too. Violence is always an answer. In I don't say video games, but just in general, society says violence is an answer. You know,
Hmm.
I was raised not to have violence as an answer, and I still don't. I've only laid hands on one person. I've only punched one person, literally, and I usually walk away. But then when I did, I want to say 12, 11, 12 years old. So I've been about 12. We got my best friend at the time. We got in an argument. He was calling me names, blah 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 blah, because he was starting to hit into the cool crowd and all that stuff. I was still the nerd and all that. And he's got. I mean, he lived 3 doors down, and I just jacked him right in the nose, busted his nose, broke it. All that blood everywhere. I didn't like I didn't like how I felt. I didn't like the blood on my hand. I didn't like how I didn't hurt my hand at all. Busted his nose pretty good. I just broke it, but I didn't like that feel. I didn't like that feeling of what happened, the occurrence of that violence. Ooh, that was bad, and I haven't done it since. So people are like, it says you just punch, you just fight, whatever. No, I mean, and 34 years later, still haven't laid a hand on anybody. Slapped, punched, kicked, anything like that. I don't do that. I'll turn and walk away because I don't. You can call me names for it. I don't really care. I mean, it took a while to get to that point where I don't care what people say. I really don't care. But once I got to more in the faith, I didn't. And real test is, I really don't care what anybody says, what their opinion is. I only have two opinions I worry. Well, besides mine, two other opinions that I worry about: God's and Judy's. If you're neither one of those, no offense, Orlando, it's next on the list. I'm not that concerned. I'll got to answer to myself, God, and Judy. That's all I got to answer to, and
There you go.
those are big. I'm concerned about. So if you're like, well, aren't you worried about your boss's opinion? Not really. My boss is God, and if you're not God, I'm not worried. And it took a while to get there. I mean, I was only been saved for 8 years, so it took a while to get there. But once I realized that their opinion and those words really didn't matter, only His does, I was good. Like, who cares? I don't. Your opinion, no, someone else's opinion is such a secondary thing. Like, people block me on Facebook for something. I'm like, well, that sucks. Whatever. Sorry if I offended you. I'm moving on. You know, I'm not worried. You know,
I have an analogy of some of the things that go on, especially in the workplace that I've seen as a traveler. Um, I have seen what they call, I guess it now has a label called gaslighting, where you used to insult you, go, just kidding. I always say it's a truth. It's a I'm not saying it's truth. I'm just saying it's their truth. Put in a box, wrapped in a paper of sarcasm, and tied with a bow of just kidding. So when you pull the bow, the thing explodes. You're standing there injured, and they're just sitting there laughing, thinking it's funny. It's not funny. It's absolutely not funny. It decays the person's morale, even your own morale. And Jason, I'd like you to touch on you've done this journey with me these last several weeks. I would like you to take it from a spouse's perspective on what you see and things like that and the effects of bullying.
a spouse's perspective. You're putting me on the spot. I got you.
Oh, I am. I'm sorry.
At least give me a heads up that there's a spotlight coming. No, just kidding. Um, it's hard because, well, in this case, I'm gonna be very vague on the general idea. Or as a traveling tech or traveling nurse or traveling employee like that, the pay rates are always higher just because you have two houses to take care of and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of times when you go into, I call it the war zone, because they don't spend the kind of money that they spend on to get a traveler in because they're in good shape, because they can get somebody locally to do it, so they're putting a lot of money in. So a lot of times the people that are there are sometimes are jealous about the amount the person's getting paid because of, you know, like, well, I'm doing the same job and I'm getting paid half as much. They don't see the full picture of being away from your home, being away from your church, being away from your family, being away from all that. So they don't see that aspect. So there's, that part of things. So you're already walking into a war zone, you know. And when I'm there, like when I was actually in North Carolina, to come home to that, it's good to be. I don't see the shoulder to cry on, because I stand taller than her, and the chair doesn't raise high enough, and you can't really be the shoulder. Um, sorry, bad joke. But it's like you're at least there, in that aspect. But some people would have a responsibility just like to go in there and just tell them off. And I even said, like, I'll go and sit there and tell them straight out what the problem. If they have a problem with they're doing the job because they're in chair and making X amount of dollars or blah blah blah, I'll go in there and tell them that if you lose their job, I can't do that. So I want to do that. I say, here's some fighting word per se, and that's not the right term to use, but here's some things that you could use, approaches to take. And then it makes it a little harder when you're away for 4 weeks. You don't have that support system. But people don't realize, see what they do, how that affects people. And it's hard not to go in there and say stuff to them. It may happen towards the end of it when the contract's over. Not gonna lie. Hopefully everything's mended by then. But being on the outside, it's like you're watching Mike Tyson fighting Gandhi. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That Mike Tyson beating him up, and Gandhi's like, nope, non-violent, not gonna do anything, not gonna react back, not gonna do it, not gonna respond. And what do? You want to go in there and bite Mike Tyson's ear off, kind of thing, and beat him up. But no, just let that go, and that's it's hard to keep the peace in that aspect when you're that person. When you're in it, to be quiet, because you want to fight back. But then on the outside, you want to go in and jump in, and like a tag team wrestling, you're on the outside of the ring trying to jump in, like, I can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do anything. I haven't been tagged in yet.
Right.
Well, I've got it.
But you're cheering from the corner, This is what you need to do. Do this, try that, try this, do this, do that. But you can't get in and do anything.
One of the things I've learned throughout this journey, it's only been the last couple of days. And I want to say to the whole situation, to the people, it's like, don't take my sign of dinner. I'm keeping my peace, because before Jesus, I'd have cursed you out, went up to one side and down the other, gave you my badge, and said, I'm out of here. Peace.
She said she would have stood up and walked out, and I said, "There's a miracle." She got up and walked out. Dropped the job, but she walked. Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
That's my ammo in tough situations. I would make jokes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So basically, it's not a sign of, for me, it's not a sign of weakness. Now, and don't get me wrong, I bite my tongue every day because I want to go, careful, your insecurities are showing, or saying, you know better. That makes me just as bad. Or careful, you're showing your rotten fruit, or something snarky like that. That doesn't make me any better. That just makes me actually worse, because I know that I'm not supposed to do that, and I do it anyway. Some people don't know, other people know and do it anyway. But it just, as people, we need to learn how to navigate when it happens to us. Because if we don't react to a bully, I do talk to myself, by the way, so you can think how crazy I am. I said, careful, sister. Your crazy's starting to show through. Because it does, it wears you down. It just wears. And if this wasn't a travel assignment and limited time frame, I would honestly be seriously been out of there a while ago. It's not a good situation. And I'll get more into why I'm still there. There's a reason. God put me there for a season. And he's like, the first thing I had when I thought I was going to make Friday my last day, and I was praying outside at lunchtime, I'm like, Lord, what is wrong with me? Look what I've done. I mean, they had a good working team there. They had a good looking working system. And I said, what did I do? Or not like, what did I do wrong? It's like, wow, what did I do here? Just trying to defend myself. What did I cost? What did I do here? Look what I cost. And you did what I asked you to do. I beelined around back out to the parking lot and said, and why does it feel so rotten? And sometimes, I mean, the bullying is just me. It's not against just me. They bully each other. The bullies bully each other. And you can see things starting to fracture. You can see things starting to fall apart. And so it was just a matter of time. If it wasn't me, it would have been somebody else, And so, like I said, I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a season, and I'll do a whole thing about it. And I'll put the whole story together once he tells me all the moving parts. Because these are unfolding there's a reason Jason's in Illinois, and the reason I'm here is God puts you sometimes in isolation for a reason, because he's got some work to do in you, and he's got some things for you to do as well, without distractions. So there's a reason it isn't fixed yet, even though we're not happy about it. Or the button fixed, we're not happy about it, but
and I know some of the reasons I've come across already today. So, but
yeah.
But anyway, but I just got a message from one of my friends that's listening. I'm gonna kind of leave it anonymous there, but they're not listening, but they hear what we're talking about. He said he doesn't listen to anybody but himself in that aspect. But it's our friends out of Moline, so I'm just giving a shout out to them for listening to us live. So sorry. He just said I hear it, so he's listening in. I just spent yesterday with him, so they know who they are. but I appreciate them listening in. So, but go ahead, go back to what you're talking about.
No, just the fact that um, words are words, and yes, words hurt. Yes, words can be weapons. Somebody did a great analogy about bullying, and they had weapons and knives and bullets, and they had written words like loser, unwanted, and all those, and all the just names, nasty names we say to each other, and and that's what they hurt like. They hurt like a weapon, They hurt like you're wounded. Um, but we all need to understand and realize, and the way I see this is God is my vindicator. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not holier than thou, and I am not against going, can I watch? Can I be there when they get theirs? Can I be the present? But I really don't think I want to be. I've been present when somebody got what was coming to them, when it was instant. As some people say who aren't Christians, they say instant karma came and hit them.
Mm.
And to watch that train wreck happen, and it wasn't literally a train wreck, but you watch somebody go through that, and it is hard not to feel that pain that they feel and understand where it came from and why it happened. And part of you wants to go, woohoo! But like 85% of you is going, ouch, that hurts. Because you know what it's like.
Yeah.
And as much as you want to be happy about it, you just can't.
Yeah.
um, so all we can really do, and ironically, I have only started praying to God the last week or so. Because I did everything in my strength. Ladies and gentlemen, pray to
Doesn't.
Jesus. Don't wait till last. Because only He can change someone's heart. We can't change the heart. We can prick a heart with words that Jesus has said to us. And basically, I see that what I'm doing there is I'm yelling at him, saying, "Look out for the iceberg!" And they're on the Titanic. Look out for the iceberg! Look out for the iceberg! You see this all happening. You see it all falling apart, and they've got a really hard job. I am not going to negate anything that they're going through. When you work at a center that deals with um, the big C, you all know what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Um, you see that every day, and they walk through with people through that journey. It is not easy. It is not easy at all, and I can't even pretend I could do that job. I get to head out in the lab. I get to run specimens. That's what I deal with is tubes of blood. I don't have to. I would never make it through. I would never make it through. Um, and I think it's just a lot of what's happening is navigating life and processes and just not because you get hit with it at work, you get hit with it at home, you get hit with it in life, you get hit with it in the news, you get hit with it, you know, all these little, I call them traumas and micro traumas, things happen in our lives that we're just not equipped to deal with. We're just a bunch of walking wounded, wounding everyone around us. And that's where I hope that we can, as Christians, we can learn to grow and be Jesus's hands and feet and forgive like He forgives us every day. And move past a lot of this stuff and move forward. Because yeah, bullying hurts. Yeah, it makes me mad when they do that and they lie about stuff and then don't let me speak and say, the facts of what happened and this, that, and the other, and they make stuff up in their heads of what the scenario really was, and that's not true, and things like that. But in the end of it, what does it even matter? You know, it's just their opinions. I know who I am, and I know whose I am, and it's just opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So this has all happened since like late Friday. This is not what Jason heard this last week. And then I'm gonna say, I'm gonna
I was
and
afraid
I
I was going to deal with
say,
bail money at some point.
huh?
I'm in jail. I said I was afraid I was going to deal with bail money at some point. I'm in jail. What happened? I ran them over.
Oh wow.
Assault with a deadly weapon. What did you use? My power chair. I backed up and kept going, and they ran over him again. I was afraid I was going to deal with bail money at some point.
I
Oh
just keep
wow.
my mouth. I just keep my mouth quiet, and there'll be a time when I open it. But it won't be to lash out. It'll be to speak wisdom. Um, and and things like that. I don't know where the God's going to take me through this next 6 weeks or 7 weeks, but it'll be a learning when it's all done. I'll go ahead and put something together and talk about the journey because it's rough, it's tough, but you know what? It's all worth it.
Yeah.
Just like when we went through what we went through when we found Christ. This is just another age and stage. Sometimes you go through storms. Sometimes they're hurricane proportions. Sometimes they're tornado proportions. Sometimes they're thunderstorms. Sometimes they're just a mist. You know, um, but you know, you always come out stronger. You may have to pick your pieces up, and put it back together sometimes, but you'll always come back stronger.
Yeah.
Um, so they always say that broken bones, when they grow back, are stronger than before they were broken. So.
So, yeah, and to see God's hand, and how this all is. Like, He pulled me away from being there for that support, but He's created a support system there. I don't remember her name. You don't need to say it either. But the bus driver in the morning that takes her.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she's connected with her, and so that she has that um,
Well,
outlet.
and just even showing like yesterday because Friday was rough, and yesterday I started getting negative with people. I'm like, this is not gonna be a good day if I can't get along with people, because I'm going to Walmart for groceries um, at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Saturday.
People.
Yeah.
And just everybody was. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some bad lady cut off in front of me about took me out along with the cart, and things like that. She's like, "Would you move it?" I was like, you cut in front of me, kind of thing. But anyway, but there were more hopeful people, more kind-hearted people, and things like that. And he shows you that they're out there, and he shows you that they exist, and he puts them in your path to reignite your faith, reignite your faith in humanity, your faith in everything else. Um, and that's why I chose the song I chose to have you play, um, "The Castles" with Tom McDonald, um, because we're all basically hurting. Um, we look through things. One thing I learned with this journey, and I want to say this, is sometimes when we go through our lives, we're looking through lenses and we see what we want to see. And when I started, somehow I don't know how I got here. First 40 years of my life, I spent as a victim mentality. Everything happened to me. I didn't have any control. Every, you know, Everybody was doing things to me and all this other stuff. And then when we fell in hard times, God kind of sat me out, and it's like, okay, now let's pick yourself back up and let's go forward. And my life changed, a whole new trajectory. than I ever imagined it would be. Was it easy? No. But was it rewarding? Absolutely. Um, and not in the world's view of things, but it was extremely rewarding overall. And then somehow from January to current, I wound up getting back in a victim mentality. So sometimes I sometimes I think this was the catalyst that started this whole ball rolling. Was I was still in that victim mentality wise that, oh, well, people are going to judge me because I use a chair. People are going to do this because of the chair, the chair, the chair, the chair, the chair, the chair. It's like everything was happening to me because of that, or because I'm just have a disability, or this, that, or the other. And instead of being a victor, I was being a victim. And I think sometimes if you take that mentality, after a while, people get sick of hearing that. No offense to myself. I even got sick of hearing it. Like, what is wrong with you? Um, and sometimes we do a self fulfilling prophecy in cases like that where we look so much through those lenses and we see what we want to see, and we kind of become I call it the perpetrator of our own victimhood, and we keep the ball rolling. Um, Thanks be to God, He's been working with me, and I've gotten out of that mental state. I'm not a victim anymore, and I found my power. I found my voice, and I found the fact that I can roll away from the antics that are going on, that they're trying to humiliate and all that. I don't have to take it. I don't have to let it get inside me. They can try, but remember, God gives us the armor that we need.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and things like that. Um, and like I said, there's more to the story than just this. Um, but again, I've got stuff I still got to do. So pray for me. Because I don't always feel like I'm the one that's supposed to have to do this. um, that's like when you're given a message to give to somebody and you're supposed to speak life into them, but they don't necessarily want to receive it from you because they don't necessarily respect you, kind of thing, because of everything that's been happening. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Um, and so pray for that the message gets through, because after a while I'm going to say, okay, God, I did what you asked. It's in your court now. Run with it. Your turn.
Well, it's not.
Uh,
It's not. It's not now. It's always should be in his court, right?
yep. Yep.
Yeah. So that's
Yep.
that's the one thing about that I think a lot of times we when we're thinking about things like that, and we will say things like that a lot, not really thinking about it, that he's in control or should be in control all the time, and maybe certain situations we wouldn't get ourselves into if we know that for sure that he is, totally in
Mhm.
control. And I'm pretty much speaking about myself. So there's a lot of things that has gone on within my life that, I just sit there and be like, if I only listened. You gave me so many people to tell me within my life, but I wasn't listening. I allowed the flesh to do what it wanted. I allowed the flesh to do what felt good instead of, what was best. And a lot of times that's the problem. We want to do things what feels good instead of what's best, and that's just like with with dieting and things of that nature. We want things that taste good. We don't want things that are best for us. We just want things that taste good, and that's why we end up getting into the situations we get into. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Orlando,
what's good?
I want to say that I want to say this to you, and I want to say this to you for a while.
Uh-oh, I'm in
And,
trouble.
no, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. I think it's a
Good
good
idea.
thing. Anyway. Congratulations. I want to say congratulations on the journey that you're going through with health. Um, because it takes a lot to go through that. And
The struggle. Mhm.
yeah, it's a struggle. And I think every time I go to my freezer, and I apologize for saying this because now I'm going to make you hungry, and I go for an ice cream bar or something like that. Now I limit myself, keep in my mind, I make sure I count my carbs, okay? But I think, man, you're weak. Orlando does this all the time. What is your issue?
Uh,
Let me
Yeah,
be more like him.
no, don't do that to yourself, cause that's is this Orlando has been a long time in the making, and that's
Yeah.
it took a whole lot for me to get to where I am right now. It took, 4 trips to the ER to get my knee drained of gout pus, which, if anybody out there listening knows what it feels like to get anything drained because of gout swelling, you know it's not a
Mhm.
fun situation.
Nope.
So it took a lot. It took many of hours of me being in the bed, hurting, cannot move, literally cannot move, can't go to the bathroom, have to grab the nearest thing, which this last episode, the nearest thing was a trash can to be able to urinate in. And thank God I didn't have to poop. So
yeah.
so I went almost a week without pooping because
Oh,
I couldn't walk, and I live by myself. So yeah, it took years of that and the pain and the anguish for me to get to the Orlando now.
yeah.
Whereas I have no candy, ice cream, carbs for real like that inside of my home at all. I don't even eat it. I don't even crave it anymore. Honestly, tell
Yeah.
you the truth. And it's just
Yeah.
like, and that's why I keep, telling folks everybody is different, and I know this. And that's why I used to get so annoyed when people used to try to get you to get on what they're on. It's like, okay, I'm happy for you, but how do you know that is going to work for me? Just
Yep.
because you're doing it doesn't mean it's something that is good for my body and what I'm going through.
Right.
So and that's why I've had some people inbox me and ask me, "Well, what are you doing?" And I'll tell them first and foremost, what works for me may not work for you, and you may not even agree with what I'm doing, but what
Hmm.
I'm doing works for me.
Yep.
So, so that's why I really don't like giving advice to people about losing weight and things of that nature. The only advice that I would tell a person, and I told a guy this today, the only the only advice that I would tell a person is that it starts with your mind first. You have to be ready. You have to be sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you have to figure out what is that breaking point. Have you gotten to it yet? If you haven't
Yeah.
gotten to that breaking point yet, it is not gonna nothing's gonna work because your mind is still on the things that aren't healthy for you. So until you get to that breaking point in your mind, then your body is going to be ready to follow suit. But it starts with the mind first.
Yeah. When you said you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's a Dave Ramsey quote
Yeah,
about finances. You're welcome.
I really do appreciate it. Even though it took you to say it, my bro ain't tell me that, but that's all right though. I'm not gonna hold nothing against him.
Better in the words than I. That's her gift. And I don't say words. I don't put them together well.
Uh, nah, but when it
Without,
when it comes from Judy, I know it comes from you. When it comes from you, I know it comes from Judy because you all are one. So did anybody out there need me to slow that down a little bit? But anyway, but that's the truth. That's the truth. I'll just mess with you, giving you a hard time. You know that. But yeah, I really appreciate it though. I really appreciate it. It's just I look at myself now and be like, wow, okay, you know, you still got ways more to go to the goal that you want to hit, but look at you. I walked to the store the other day and my back wasn't even hurting. So I was like,
Uh,
man, so
Praise
there
God.
you there you go, right there.
Amen.
You know,
Amen.
because I used to be in some pain in my back, boy, trying to walk and trying to work and whoo. Now I
Yeah.
can touch my toes without any problem. I'm like, man, there y'all go, man. I've been
You can
neglecting
touch your toe. I just wave at mine. I see it down there. I know you're there. I just wave at them. They're there.
Yeah,
Well, for,
my toes have been neglected for a minute. I was like, man, okay, all right. Toenails, you get cut now.
well,
Not
for the record, I've also been losing as well. Um,
all right.
so I put my hoodie on the other day, and I'm like, man, this must be the big one because there's one that I got one size up because that's the only size they had, and I'm
Mm.
like, and I put that one on. I'm like, man, this thing is huge. I put the other one on. I thought, no, this is the regular sized one. No. Wait, what? I put the other one on this morning. I'm like, man, I think I can fit half a person.
Shoot, there you
So
go.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Slowly but surely, I'm getting there.
Amen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So we're all kind of on that journey. Like I can't remember who I was listening to and said, oh, there's one of the artists out of St. Louis that he's been trying to work out, lose weight. He goes, he put a post about like he's been losing weight, and he goes, man, fat men. Most of you don't understand. When you have that belt under there that gets you on that underbelly, and it hurts because I don't have that anymore. And I'm at the same point. We're all all three of us are on that journey of eating healthier and losing. Like I had a belt that I was like, man, I could it would get too tight, and I could I had to get a new belt, and it was hurting, so I had to try different things. So I just got a belt that has holes in it all the way around. So it's a constant adjustment. But
Yeah.
now I'm on a hole on the belt where I have it latched in. I don't hurt doesn't hurt anymore. But now it's loose where I'm walking. Like if I walk to the store, I had to pull my pants. I'm like, I'm gonna have to adjust another hole in my belt pretty soon. This
Uh,
is not a bad thing, but this is weird. Another one. In the last 2 months, 2.5 months, I've moved 2 notches on my belt.
oh wow.
You know,
That's
I'm gonna have to go to
awesome.
another one soon. I'm like, this is getting weird. Shirts that were kind of fitting. I'm like, oh, I have room. This is how the shirt's supposed to fit.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, she's talking about counting carbs. I count them. I mean, I can count to 100. I can count to 1,000. It's not good to count that high when you count your carbs, but that's not what she means by that. But I mean, what I have at work for work, I've made salad with some shredded cheese, um, tuna, and then some dressing. You know,
Yeah, there you go.
and there you go. It's a salad. I mean, but it gets me by for the meal. Can't argue
Yeah.
with that. It's choices like that. Versus what did you have? I had half a bag of chips. It was at the bottom of the bag, so I had to eat through the top half first. Kind of deal. You know, that doesn't work. You have that as your meat, and then wonder why you're losing weight.
Now, see,
So I'm like,
one thing I have done also, if I do rarely now, if I do eat chips or something like that or whatever, I make sure I have some vegetables or something within that time as well. So I try to, offset it. If you are gonna have a little chips, okay, cut up some cucumbers or something like that. But that's what I've been doing as well. All of a
yeah,
sudden I started to like the taste of cucumbers and celery because at one point I used to never really eat it. Excuse
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually like those too. The one thing I had today because I bought avocados because they're on sale, and
me. Yummy.
I had onion and garlic and tomato, and I bought a lime. So I made no, I didn't make a margarita. The lime.
I was about to say put the lime in the coconut.
Coconut. This is why we're friends. You got a line to get the coconut? That's probably nearby. No,
Hey,
yeah,
there you go.
Orlando.
I did. I made guacamole, and I just do it like a salsa consistency. You just chop it up. You don't like blend it,
Mhm.
and then I put in. I used finished. I didn't finish off, but I used some Doritos. Is that wrong?
No, I mean, it's
It's
not
moderate.
because you got to look at it. Your guacamole, the avocado is almost like replacing a dip. So that's the
Yeah.
healthiest thing. So you're offsetting it, and if you don't eat a whole portion of it, if you didn't sit there and eat like the whole bag of Doritos with it,
No.
then nah, I don't see me myself. I don't see anything wrong with it. But you
Ginger
know.
had some. Does that count?
I'm not a professional, so hey.
The dog had some.
The dog had Doritos.
Uh
She's sitting
oh.
there going. She's looking there, and I'm like, okay, you can't have avocado. They're not good for you. So I'm like, here we go. Here's the Dorito.
Oh
Like that's
wow.
any better.
Mm-mm-mm.
Uh,
Wow.
So she's like, hey. So yeah, Ginger's can't say Ginger's getting skinny.
Shoot, I know your friend probably didn't got off a long time ago. Jason. I know you probably like, oh, they talking about losing weight now. Time for me to go.
uh,
Oh man, but yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you were listening, if you are listening to the recording, we do appreciate you very much for the support of the new Quake RYC Praise News, where music is therapy. We're loading new music like almost every other day, pretty much trying to get everything moved around and get everything adjusted. Adding new shows at different times. So just listen to the station 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't listen to anything else. Don't listen to your mom, your dad, your cousin, your uncle, your aunties. Don't listen to anybody. Just listen to the station. You'll be okay. You're following God. But
No, no, no.
oh,
I don't want angry
see,
parents calling in.
now see, I was trying to keep a straight face, but they started laughing. But nah, for real though, listen to your parents when you're not listening to the station. But you know, be like, Mom, I'm listening to Quake now. Leave me alone, man.
they're giving me all the advice I need. They said not. Orlando said not to listen to you.
Hey, there
Wait,
you
no,
go.
wait, no, that's not, no, no, no.
Hey, have them listen to Quake as well, and then they'll be like, "Oh, we get it now. We get it. He was right, honey. Don't listen to me." Nah, but but nah. We do appreciate all the support and everything. Also listen to the station, not only the station, but also listen to our other affiliates and our family as well, like the Devout Jamcast hosted by DJ Iceberg 365. All the shows that we carry, if you hear them on other stations, that's great. That's fantastic. Show some support. Support these artists that we play, man. You can one thing a lot of people don't know about Live 365, if you listen to the station online, you can actually purchase from the online station. So it'll have it on the side there, a little purchase thing that you can actually click on it and go to the artist page and click on it. As long as the artist, and yes, I'm going to put it on the artist, as long as the artist sends us the correct upload information for their music, you should
Hmm.
be able to do that. If the artist does not send us the correct upload information, the only thing you'll be able to do is listen to that artist's music. So that's why I said, yes, I blame it on the artist because it's their due diligence to make sure they sending us the right information so that in return they can get what they need as an artist,
Yep.
um, i.e., i.e.,
Yeah.
royalties. So if you do
Hmm.
not send us the right information, you will
But
not get your royalties. It's not our fault. It's your fault. So,
and I said, if you hear the song, you like the song. I mean, if you're listening on your social media, you get or on like your phone or whatever, screenshot it, get the name. If you can't go buy it right away, but go and support that artist. I mean, 90% of what we have on our station is indie artists. They don't have a label supporting them. They don't have big conglomerate. I mean, they're out there working a 40-hour job type thing and doing this on this and working their way through. And that 99 cents may not seem like a big deal to you, but that adds up for them. On streaming, they get point oh 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 oh. I mean, not O's, 2 cents per stream. That 99 cents doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a lot to them considering. So show
Right.
that support to them and that. And if they don't have the link on there, find them, find their multiple artists, Facebook, Instagram, whatever.
YouTube.
Find it, YouTube. Go find it and go get that album, get that track, whatever, and they'll
Yeah.
give them that support too. And they say, hey, Quick RYC sent us. Let them know that's where they heard. They heard. You heard them. Kind
Yeah.
of thing.
And then
Show that
also,
support. Yeah.
And then also, if you know the particular artist and you see their music on our station, but you didn't see their picture or anything, or you didn't see a purchase link or anything, get on that artist's head and let them know. Be like, hey, you didn't send them the right information because I couldn't purchase it from the station. I try to support, but you didn't send them the right information. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop beating up that dead horse. But for real though, I mean that's years.
There's ways we can help support them in that way
Yeah,
too. And
yeah,
buy their
most
hat, buy
definitely.
their shirt. Orlando has a hat collection.
Phew, do I? Man, y'all
I
want to
got
send me?
I got three. One is a Quake Radio
Man,
hat. The other two are
y'all
yeah.
want to send me some hats? I'll give you my, my address and everything. You can send me some hats. Oh yeah, that's right. Shout out to my man Jim Connors. Shout out to Jim Connors, who used to run a radio station himself. It was their original Christ-like radio station before the other Christ-like came up. But Jim
Yeah.
Connors, he's a teacher out in Arizona doing his thing for the children. He sent me a shirt the other day, so I'm gonna be sporting that joint probably tomorrow when I go to work. So I like the shirt. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I told him thank you, but I want y'all to know as well. I'm saying thank you again. So I really appreciate the shirt. Yeah, check my mail. I was like, oh man, okay. I'm gonna sport this joint. So definitely,
Yeah. I want to give a quick shout out just to our nice. I've been back for the month now in here in Galesburg. Um, went to church. No, just went to church today to support there. We have somebody at our church that's now supporting the ministry on a monthly basis, which is amazing to have that. So there's a link available on quakeradio.com where you can. Herman and Dee. Uh, Herman just celebrated his 90th birthday today, so we did a little surprise birthday.
ooh,
His wife Dee she's at the nursing home in town. She needs some prayers. They've been together 60 years plus, married. Um, but we had a little birthday party for him there today, 90th birthday. Chuck and Lanny are big supporters of us too. Um, from for Church of God here in Galesburg. So I just want to give a shout out to that church for the support they've given. No, they've given. The prodigal son comes back after 4 weeks, 5 weeks of being out, and they still show love to us. Um, we just appreciate them in that aspect. So and they miss you, Judy. They say hi.
Okay.
I think
amen,
way back
amen.
when you're going to know. But it's good to have that church connection too. People say if this church is just a building, it is. It's just a building. But what's inside that matters. The fellowship you have, the people that are there. That's what's needed. It's not about the church. It's not about the building. It's not about the stained glass windows. It's about the fellowship, like we have here. That's what it's about. Be
Amen.
able to talk to people and have that support. That aspect of things. So, but I digress. I'm gonna go back to let you go do what you do best.
Amen, amen. Oh, I just had one question. Did sir, the 90-year-old gentleman, did he drop it low? I mean, just because he's 90 don't mean he can't drop it down for for Jesus. Come on now.
Years or 80 years, whatever, since it started. His dad helped build the church, kind of thing.
Oh
So,
wow. Okay.
when they say the elders of the church, he's the elder of the church in that aspect. He's been there. But yeah, and they're good folks. Just well, we played Chuck and Lanny's song. And we support what
Amen.
they do.
Amen.
So
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
yeah,
I would like for yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start to wrap it up because we've been on here like an hour and a half, but it's all
Yeah.
good. We haven't been on here in so long, so I kind of anticipated us, being on here for a while, but it's all good. It's all good because I got another football game to get to. No, I'm joking. But
I throw out one more real quick shout out.
yeah, yeah.
Back to our friend, I mentioned it earlier. My buddy Justin. I know he's still hearing what I'm saying because he doesn't listen. He said he's still listening to the show. He's listening right now. He goes, "I'm still listening." He's messaging me while we're talking.
Oh,
So
okay,
I
okay.
appreciate all the 11 years. 11 years we've been friends on that. So I just appreciate his support. So I know you're listening out there, or at least you're hearing the words we're saying. So uh,
What's
thank
up,
you again.
Justin? How you doing, Justin? Thank you very much for listening and not hearing us, Justin. I don't know how you do that, but okay. We appreciate it, brother. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Um, yeah, I gotta get myself ready, man. I'm gonna be gone for like 2 weeks. Not gone outside of the state, but gone outside of my. Well, maybe I shouldn't tell people that. I don't need nobody trying to. I don't need nobody trying to break in. But anyway, I already posted it, so it's too late now. But yeah, I'm gonna be gone for a couple of weeks. I'm gonna be gone on an assignment. So I'll still be in touch. I'll still be, you still be able to call me, talk to me, things of that nature, and I'll still be able to set up and do shows and everything too. So I just got to
Yeah.
get stuff packed up between tonight and tomorrow and get myself ready. So at least I'm not gonna have much of a water bill or electric bill at my house. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a blessing. That's definitely a blessing. Um, Judy, I want you to
Yes.
introduce the song that you wanted me to play. Forcefully told me to play it, or you said you're gonna beat me up, but that's okay. I wasn't
I
gonna
didn't
share that
say
with
that.
everybody. I was not gonna share that with everybody, but I was led to let everybody know how you really, really are. Now go ahead.
No. I said it was okay. It didn't work. um, it's a song that Tom McDonald. If anyone knows that artist, he's not necessarily Christian based. Labels a Christian artist, but he has a lot of really, really good deep songs. And one of the first ones I ever heard that I liked, not y'all know, and yes, our station's mainly hip hop and heavy metal, and they're not my forte. Um, but he does hip hop and rap, and he is um if you're ever listened to his journey, um it's a really good journey. If you ever get a chance, the other one is Names. That's a really good one too to go along with this. But the one I chose was Castles because that was the one I that describes, I think, the way our society and culture is at this point in time. So go ahead and play it. It'll probably be self-explanatory.
All right. I'm just gonna say at first I thought you said Michael McDonald. I was like, man, I haven't heard nothing from him in a while. And when I listened to the track, it didn't sound like him rapping. But
Uh,
I was like, man, he really. Do y'all know who Michael McDonald is?
Yeah.
uh,
Oh, okay.
I know.
Whew. Man, I grade say I'm really telling my age now, boy. Oh my
I know
goodness.
Michael McDonald. Yeah, that's definitely not so like him. No.
Okay. Alrighty, let's go and jump into this. This is Castles by Tom McDonald. Hopefully, everybody can hear it. I'm not sure if Judy and Jason, if you're going to be able to hear it, but everybody out there should be able to hear it. So let's jump into
Okay.
this and we'll be right back. I see you at the liquor store, you smile at the clerk when you fumble through your purse. I just wish I had a little more to help. I imagine where you live and how you feel,
I got
you
it.
love and who
I'm
you'll be if
listening
you
on
can make
the
it out your hell. I see you
station
at
to
the
see if
bus
it comes
stop,
through
looking at
yet.
the sidewalk, smoking up a cigarette, waiting for a ride. Kinda limp when you walk and look away. When you talk, you're ashamed, I can see it in your eyes. Probably got a NASCAR shirt and a car that you love, but you're here cause you're too afraid to drive. It's been
You
almost
still there,
10
Jude?
years since the day that you
Yeah.
crashed. Can't forget about
Okay.
that little boy's life. Everybody's got
I'm
a
gonna see if
story.
it's
If you look
playing
a
or
little
not. Hold
closer,
on.
you can see it in the wrinkles in their face. They can hide it in the silence, they can bury it and fight it, but it comes out when the hair is turning gray.
Yeah,
You
it's
can
playing
feel
on
it
the
if you touch
station.
them, you can tell that they are troubled, you can hear the story running through their veins. We all travel different roads and we put on different clothes. Underneath it all, we're really all the same. We've all got problems and we all feel alone. We've all been haunted by the secrets we hold.
We could fill our coffins with the rocks they have thrown, or we could build our castles with the sticks and the stones. We've all got problems and we all feel alone. We've all been haunted by the secrets we hold. We could fill our coffins with the rocks they have thrown, or we could build our castles with the sticks and the stones.
I see you sitting on the front porch playing with a radio, looking to the sky. Probably living in that house all alone these days, trying to find a better way to pass time. Got a wheelchair ramp leading up to the door, I can see that you walk just fine. Probably hate it cause it isn't getting used anymore, and you only ever built it for your wife. Everywhere that I walk, see you on the sidewalk, begging for a little loose change for some dough. Probably got a mama and a papa spending everything they make, trying to clean you up enough to take you home. Used to have a good job, used to get good grades, used to have big dreams, and he lost hope. When your girlfriend died, giving birth to your son, you're the father that'll probably know. Everybody has a tale that they're too afraid to tell, you can see it in the cracks in their hands. With smiles, if you walk a couple miles in their shoes, then you'll know where they stand. Everyone who really lived had to climb out of a ditch they were in before they found the right path. If you want to know the truth about what we've been going through, then try to put your phone away so you can ask.
We've all got problems and we all feel alone. We've all been haunted by the secrets we hold. We could fill our coffins with the rocks they have thrown, or we could build our castles with the sticks and the stones. We've all got problems and we all feel alone. We've all been haunted by the secrets we hold. We could fill our coffins with the rocks they have thrown, or we could build our castles with the sticks and the stones. We are the neighbors that you'll never meet. We are the strangers walking down your street. We are a million faces in the crowd. We are the ones the system's tearing down. We are the people working to survive. We are more than just our 9 to 5s. We are the shopping malls and streetcars. We are one, it's time to tell them just who we are. We've all got problems and we all feel alone. We've all been haunted by the secrets we hold. We could fill our coffins with the rocks they have thrown, or we could build our castles with the sticks and the stones. We've all got problems and we all feel alone. We've all been haunted by the secrets we hold. We could fill our coffins with the rocks they have thrown, or we could build our castles with the sticks and the stones. We've all got problems and we all feel alone. We've all been haunted by the secrets we hold. We could fill our coffins with the rocks they have thrown, or we could build our castles with the sticks and the stones.